Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be looking at Pentatonix's My Favorite Things. This is a video I saw last year around Christmas time, so this won't be necessarily a blind react for me, but I haven't seen it since then, since I don't like looking at Christmas music until about Christmas time. So as always, I look for your commentary and guidance on things that I miss. I look forward to also reading all of your comments. This is your space for sharing and interacting with each other and building relationships. Some of you already know each other, so this space is for you guys to just keep those relationships going. And I really do appreciate the community that we built. However, if you don't want to make any comments, not a problem. I appreciate you coming by. Before we begin, I just want to mention this. I do want to get to 5,000 subscribers by New Year's. So if you can share my channel with people that might be interested, that would be awesome. And then also, finally, this is the holiday season, and some people have wondered how they can send me stuff during this time. So since I don't have a PO box, I have put my email and PayPal in the description box if you want to help me out. So with that, I have nothing else to say, so I am just going to begin.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, red copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with string. These are a few of my favorite things. Cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudels, doorbells and sleigh.
I'm going to take it back because I stopped in the middle of this. Now, I just did the react to the prayer, and last year I did one to Amazing Grace, and I love their art direction. And I know somebody in the previous comments put a big shout out to all the people that are involved in the artistic direction behind Pentatonix, from the visuals to the arrangements. And so I believe it's Ben Bram. You can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but this, if you start thinking about the way the universe works, there's 8 billion people on this earth, and somehow these 5 6 people, when we bring in Avi into the equation, when you have all these people come together, like, what are the odds? This is just, it blows my mind a lot about how this group of people suddenly came together and they became all of this, that all of this came together in one big, just ball of greatness. And again, you listen to the way that this is put together, the do-do-do-do-dum. Again, not a singer ish in the same way, but the way that their creativity in how they do the arrangements and how they execute the arrangements and how they execute the art direction and the production is just amazing. And I'm gonna go back and we're gonna see this a little bit again. And let's go.
And warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with string. These are a few of my favorite things. Cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudels, doorbells and sleigh bells and schnitzel with noodles, wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things. Girls in white dresses with blue satin sashes, snowflakes that stay on my nose and eyelashes, silver-light winters that melt into springs. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad.
Now, I'm going to mention this quickly. I'm really enjoying the fact that Kirsty is getting a huge swath of this song. The one thing that I notice, and this is because I went to school too long and I watch for this stuff. One thing that I would love to see more of, especially like in outros and in a lot more of the sort of accidental footage with Pentatonics and incidental stuff, is we have four guys and Kirsty, and I would love to see her voice more out there in the public conversations that Pentatonics has, like in the outros and stuff like this. Now again, it could be her choice. So if that's her choice, I'm gonna back off. But I really, and as a reactor, I have been criticized for not talking about Kirsty and her voice and her contributions to the arrangements in the songs. I own that. But I really love the fact that there are these moments where she gets to step forward, and it's just something that I notice. And if that means I have to take down this video because no one likes it, I understand that. Um, but I'm really, it's one of those things that as a reactor I've been reflecting on, especially with Pentatonics, is how do I really incorporate everybody? Because I also know that because I'm a tenor and I'm used to singing melodies and stuff like that, I really focus on like the trio. And when you listen to people who sing bass or are baritones, they're really honed in on Matt, or they're honed in on Kevin and how he draws in, and that those great pillars that actually pretty much support the whole thing. And that's one thing that I know that I want to work on in my reactions is that I'm not necessarily always as inclusive of everybody as I should be, especially here. And this is great because Kirsty is perfect for this particular role for a lot of reasons, and I don't want to go into everything because we're missing the video. So I'm going to go back, put in your comments below what you think about everything in this performance. I mean, there's a lot going on, and I guess I'm just reflecting on what it is that I do and don't do in my reactions. And so I'm gonna go back and we'll continue.
Dog bites when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad. I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad. Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens, brown paper packages tied up with string. These are a few of my favorite things.
Cream-colored ponies and crisp apple strudels.
Joy bells and sleigh bells and schnitzel with noodles.
Wild geese that fly with the moon on their wings. These are a few of my favorite things.
When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so
So I'm gonna try not to stop as much now, but I'm already here. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't mention here about like just what they're doing musically, and the things that I really love about Pentatonics is that they understand the concept of silence and movement and using the arrangement to create motion, forward motion within their songs. There's a lot of I'll call it tension in the song. Like it's always moving and it's always on edge. The way that the last couple of chords there it was crunchier than I believe Rodgers and Hammerstein designed it. It's not it has more jazziness to it than the original, and that's awesome because again you're supposed to transform these. But it's the use of unison. There's been uses of unison. There's been use of silence in here, and all these things that I really love about Pentatonics is that they're not afraid to stop and use that silence to create that tension so that when they come back in, they resolve what's not being said. So with that, poor Kevin here is a little bit too tall for that chair, apparently. So I'm going to go back and we'll continue.
When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things, and then I don't feel so bad.
So yes, I think that was, and I really like that when Pentatonics looks at a Christmas song, because it's a pretty standard Christmas song, right? They don't leave it as is. They know what to fix and what to keep. And their arranger knows how to do this. And they know how to play with the song. And that's what really draws us in. So if you watch other a cappella groups, it's that ability to not just take the song and just sing it with voices instead of instruments. It's the ability to make those little or big changes within the orchestration and the arrangement to help them. And I use orchestration because, well, when you're dealing with Kevin, um, basically sometimes his beatboxing is just amazing, just like it's almost orchestration. And so, but the arrangement just they know how to really capture their essence as a group, their playfulness as a group. They never seem out of place doing what they're doing. So whenever they pick a a mode for their song, so they pick a theme or a tone or a voice for their song, everybody plays along. No one feels uncomfortable, and they're so comfortable in their skins doing this sort of stuff. And I've been going on forever and ever, and this is going to be like probably one of the longer videos that I've made. And I do want to thank you for sticking with me for that. And put your comments in the comment section below. And I do appreciate everything that you do for me. And just enjoy this holiday season. Be good to your friends and family. And just, as always, be safe.